Okay, this video we're going to have a look at forms within Office 365. Now hopefully that should give you a decent way of creating simple assessments, and the best bit from a teacher's point of view is the fact that it actually marks itself. So from the waffle menu within your email system, if you go to forms and click on that, and essentially what it allows you to do is to create forms like this. So create short multiple choice quizzes, if you will. So if we have a look down, that's for example one that I created for one of my digital media classes earlier this year, and you can create the questions, students can answer it, and then they can obviously mark it itself, which as a teacher saves you a lot of work. Now the real strength of this, you can do something similar in Google Forms, which I know a lot of people do, and I've only recently started using Forms. The reason I've started using Forms instead of Google Forms is this: the responses that you get, the analytics are much better than I've found on Google Forms. So for example, if we have a look at the responses, we can go down and we can see how many answered each one. We can go in a little bit more detail to look at question 2. You can actually see which students have answered right and wrong. We can see there's a little bit more work to do on that question. You can scroll through the questions and have a look to see, again, these people at the top have got it right, these people have got it wrong, and you can really get quite a lot of detail here without doing any extra work. You can look at one student, for example, and see all of their answers for all of the different questions, and it's really useful. You can even see how long it took them to complete. So if somebody's whizzed through it and not really spent too much time on it, then you can pick that up as well. Okay, you can print from that page as well. You can give some feedback on there as well. So there's a whole lot of things that you can do within forms, and they're really useful. So if we go back, I'm going to quickly show you how to set up one of these forms. So if we go to new quiz, take a few seconds to load. It does record the person who's doing it, but just for safety's sake, I usually do a first question of please enter your name and make that a text question, so that people make it a required field. That means they can't leave that question blank. Okay, obviously no points for entering the name, because you'd expect most people to get that question correct. So we're going to go for a multiple choice question. So if we say, keep it simple, 9 plus 7, okay, then we can give a number of answers. So we can say 16, 14, 15, 20, whatever, it doesn't really matter. And then for whatever's the correct answer, we can just say that's the correct answer. That means that when the system marks it, if somebody ticks that, they'll give them the marks. So we're only going to have 1 point for that question, and so on. Okay, so that's that question done. We can then add another question, make it multiple choice again. You can have longer questions with text. So if I added a text question, discuss, oops, spell it right as well, it's even better. Okay, now we can make that a long answer, so they've got a lot more room to answer. Obviously the problem with that is if you put a long question like that, the computer won't mark it. You'll have to go in and mark it yourself. Okay, so if that's a problem, if you don't want to do that, then obviously you're better to confine them to multiple choice questions. Okay, that's obviously quite a hard question, so we might, if we're going to put a question like that, we might say there are 5 marks available for that question. Generally I tend to use forms though for multiple choice questions, because that means that you can obviously have the whole thing marked yourself. Now you don't have to put the answers in order. The questions can shuffle them, or the question can shuffle it each time. So again, we mark that as the correct answer, and we don't want to give 5 for that, we're just going to give 1 for that. And you can keep going like that, and then until you've got as many questions as you want. So we better give the quiz a title. Okay, if you want, you can add images, you can give a description for the quiz, whatever you want to do. And then you can also click on preview at the top there. This is how it's going to look when somebody takes your quiz, you can look at how it would look on a mobile phone as well. So you've got a bit of a preview there for what your quiz is going to look like on there. Okay, once you've done that, you can go back, and then when you're ready, you've got share, and you can send an email link. You can email it to different people. You can generate a QR code, which if somebody scans that into their phone, it automatically links them through to the quiz. So there's a whole lot of stuff that you can do in order to share that in any way you want. Okay, so really useful is forms to create short multiple choice quizzes and get feedback without a lot of work from the teacher's point of view.